Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to the Den of the Drake. Other dragons hoard gold, while I hoard internet cringe. You know, with the whole thing regarding the D&D OGL, I feel like I have a responsibility to comment on it. But I've been trying to figure out how to gather my thoughts together without parroting other content creators while also being respectful to every party involved.
Welcome back, Drake.
Wizards of the Coast, please don't take 20% of all my money!
What? No, you idiot, it's the devil. From your terrible NordVPN ad, you'd think that you would remember that considering how you literally died and went to hell.
Look, dude, I hoard cringe for a living. I don't value my own life. What do you want, Satan?
Your soul.
No.
Damn. Well, in that case, I need your help.
Bite my ass.
Look, I'm the master of all evil. So when I heard about how Wizards of the Coast destroyed 40 years of goodwill in 1 week, I had to investigate. But when I read the thing and saw how Wizards of the Coast responded to the criticism, even I was like, holy shit, that's too evil. So now here I am thinking, how am I supposed to go on playing D&D after all of this? I mean, I already canceled my D&D Beyond account, but... Look at this! These demons can't sow evil into the hearts and minds of men without a good RPG to play during break time.
Have you ever heard of Apotheosis? It's designed to make homebrewing easy, and the publishers have promised that all creators making their own content keep 100% of their rights and profits. Also, they've sponsored me twice. Just play that.
Yeah, see, Jackson here is going through a bit of a Star Wars phase, and we're wanting to do something a bit more sci-fi.
Fine. Are you looking for a new RPG that lets you slap a wizard in a mech suit? Well, how about you get yourself a piece of Apotheosis Sci-Fi Edition? It's time to take your games to the stars. What is he doing?
Shh, he's doing God's work.
He's doing what? You all still think that space is the final frontier? Look beyond the stars and you'll find Apotheosis, the ultimate in RPG freedom, where it's your actions, not your class, that determines how you level up. Oh, can I play as a space dwarf with a minigun and robot dog? Of course. Oh, can I play as a suave and intelligent engineer with no skin? I mean, weirdly specific, but sure.
Oh, can I play as my persona?
No. Apotheosis would definitely let you do that, but I won't. Greetings, my children. I heard you were playing Apotheosis.
Oh, great. This guy. Leave us alone, God.
You better shut your mouth before I give you another swirly, nerd. The master of the universe plays Apotheosis? Oh, but of course. After all, it is God's chosen role-playing game. Look at this spaceship I made! I swear to me, that is the most in-depth vehicle customization I have ever seen in an RPG! And it gets even more customizable! You can combine the original and sci-fi versions. Wizards in mech suits, Terminator orcs, space elves, or just throw it all in a blender and make a time travel campaign. Literally any setting you can think of can seamlessly be created in Apotheosis. Oh my me! That's incredible! And the best part? In response to Wizards of the Coast's attack on their own community, Apotheosis is presenting their exclusive partnership program. Apotheosis promises that all content creators, regardless of size, can partner with Apotheosis and are encouraged to create third-party material. And then, in addition to any profits they make selling their own material, they will also receive an additional 30% cut driven from the publicity that their projects brought to the game.
Oh, wow. I'm the literal devil evil, and even I thought that was pretty nice of them.
I know, right? That alone makes Apotheosis worth picking up. And all you gotta do to support the game and the RPG community is to follow the link in my description, so you can pick up your preferred copy of the game. Only $15 for digital or $35 for the physical copy. Or pick yourself up the bundled version, which includes both the original and sci-fi editions at a hefty discount, alongside Apotheosis' first expansion. Your link is in the description. Oh, joyous day! This game is even better than what Jesus told me! I'm off to start writing my own third-party content! Yeah, come on, God! Let's get out of here and leave this loser to his lame game night. Oh, no. We're not friends. Goodbye, everyone! Remember to delete your D&D Beyond account!
You know, you always have a place.
Don't touch me! Well, I crawled my way out of hell again, only to find out that neither the devil nor God want me. I'm sure there's a lesson to be learned somewhere, but I sure as f*** am not gonna learn it. Anyway, on to the video. Today we're gonna be doing something a bit different. Normally I like to read one big story per video, but it's not really sustainable to expect random Redditors to be typing up well-written sagas every week. So instead we're gonna be reading two slightly shorter stories because I can't be bothered to look back decades into Reddit history. Personally, I think my sanity would be less damaged if I remained in hell. The first story I have for you today stars a player who thinks that D&D is the perfect time to take one too many pulls off the old bottle. I once heard that a drunk man's actions and words reflect a sober man's thoughts. And if that's true, then this guy is a total freaking psychopath. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive right into the horrifying world of r/RPG horror stories. Enjoy. Our first story comes to us from Reddit user StickyFinga95 and is titled "Guy Decides to be a Psychopath Because It's What My Character Would Do," and then asks why I don't let him play at my table again. So I never thought I'd be writing one of these, but after years of DMing for long-term campaigns and one-shots, I finally had a bad one. My cousin asked me to DM a one-shot for her, her boyfriend, and her friend because she wants to start her own campaign with the two of them, and wants to get a refresher on the rules after having not played in years, and the other two have never played at all. I'm always excited to teach people the game, and I've probably introduced over a dozen people to the game at this point. We have a 3-hour character building session and it goes great. Everyone is so excited about the game and is really interested in how the game actually works. The only problem that we run into is, while my cousin and her friend let me help them through every step of the creation, the boyfriend is having some issues choosing, and would refuse to let me know when he was ready for me to help again. So he was sitting there for 20 minutes doing nothing in between. No problem, I'm not there to force people to make decisions, and we have a week to decide. I leave that night letting everyone know that they can text me with any character creation questions and to work on a 1-paragraph backstory to ground the character. Then we get to the day of the one-shot. This is where it went bad. I show up and guess whose character sheet is not finished? Not only that, but I am holding open the pages in the book for him to look at and copy onto his sheet. And he is purposefully ignoring me to look up some bootleg site that is confusing him. It wasn't Wikidot. I would have liked him to use that. So we get done with that, and there's an hour wasted. We finally start the one-shot, and it's pretty standard stuff. I'm not winning any writing awards for this story, but I think it encompasses all the parts of D&D. The story opens up in a town square being attacked by goblins. The heroes all jump into action and slay them. Now this is where the boyfriend's unnatural game choices begin. And it should also be noted that this is where I notice that he cracks his first White Claw. After they kill the goblins, the town guards come up to the group and ask them to come with them to the mayor's office for a reward. The boyfriend's Tabaxi Ranger doesn't like cops, so he just runs into the woods. Okay, I'm all about player agency, so I'm cool with it. But then he bitches for the next 15 minutes as he misses out on the gold reward and RP with the mayor getting the main quest of tracking down the women that the goblins have been kidnapping the past few weeks. They then get sent to a magic shop for some free supplies, and he decides to sit on the roof while they go inside. He then proceeds to that he didn't get any magic items. My cousin asks the mayor for a guide to show them the way out of town. So I make up a 14-year-old stereotypical nerd who is in charge of the mayor's dietary needs and is saving up for school. While they are in the magic shop, they insight check Eugene, and I say that he looks nervous because they rolled an 11. He is actually nervous because the magic shop owner is the dragon that controls the goblins and is working with the mayor to kill adventurers who stand in their way. They don't ask him any more questions and proceed out of town. As soon as Eugene is about to leave them, the Tabaxi badass decides that he's going to try and stab Eugene in the neck. The party saves Eugene by throwing him in the river, and the boyfriend is all pissed off that they didn't let him kill a child. This pattern gets more common as more White Claws go down the hatch, and we get awesome moments like him asking why they would even be interested in saving the women, or telling the party that if they don't choose the path that he does, he's gonna quit. Hiding underneath books while the party solves 2 puzzle rooms without him, and trying to steal the final blow on the dragon after he wasted the whole night doing nothing. And what I can only describe as trying to outsmart the DM, not the dragon. I ultimately let him know that things are not gonna work out. It's not my job as a DM to give his character a reason to go on my adventure. He needs to react to things like a normal person, and he would not be allowed at my table anytime soon since he made the game unfun for other players. Now my cousin isn't sure if she wants to run a campaign with her boyfriend in it. TLDR. Douchebag drunk boyfriend ruins the game for his girlfriend and best friend by acting like a psychopath. Believe it or not, but alcohol at the table has actually been something I've had to deal with before. Like all things involving mind-altering substances, it's good in moderation. But your parents should have taught you that, and I know you don't gotta hear it from a cartoon dragon. But the reality is that some people think that an opportunity to sip on 1 White Claw should be interpreted as an opportunity to pound down 7 White Claws, which, as you can guess, is not productive to the health of a D&D session. It all comes down to expectations. If the DM is wanting to run a more character-driven, or hell, even a regular combat session, a drunk player is gonna derail all of it, and you all gotta make a group decision. Are you here to play D&D with some drinks, or are you here to get f***ed up while D&D happens in the background? Both are valid answers. Yeah, okay, maybe a single drink is gonna make role-playing a bit easier, but imagine looking forward to your bi-weekly D&D session all week about having a terrible 2 weeks at work, only to have it be ruined because you gotta hold back Brittany's hair because she decided now was the time for her stomach to cast shatter on the inside of the DM's toilet. Y'all ever try to clean puke off a battle mat? I got a hard enough time trying to get the dry erase marker stains off it already. Dickheads. Story number 2 comes to us from Reddit user Derek59 and is titled A Combat Wheelchair, a Cautionary Tale. So while I am writing, it has been 2 months since the last session with this group. I got completely humbled about this situation and learned something very important. If I want to continue to advocate for people with disabilities and other needs, do not help them unless they ask you to. So here's the premise. We are playing D&D online with Discord and Roll20, the usual setup. We are 4 players plus 1 DM. DM is older than us, about an 8-year gap from the oldest player of the group, and I am the youngest. F had lost her ability to walk after an accident on a horse. We use webcam on Discord, so we have seen how much effort she has to make every time she needs to stand up or sit down, and we are very aware of her condition. However, things turned out pretty bad when F wanted to use the combat wheelchair PDF that had been going around the internet for a while. The DM didn't take it seriously at first. He never thought that someone would write something like that and people would want to buy or support it. He even made a snark comment. It's like people taking Fatal seriously. If you know, you know. If you don't want to know. I knew what that meant. The DM and I share great passion for other TTRPGs aside D&D, so that felt like a gut punch. though F didn't understand what he meant. Then came the hour-long discussions about the PDF. At first, F was really motivated about the idea. She even tried to negotiate with the DM by modifying the wheelchairs to the point of her willing to struggle on most basic things. But he continued to shut down the idea and tell her that she has to continue playing as her previous character if she wants to see the end of the story. Why?
People in wheelchairs do not adventure in this world.
F fell silent and left the game early, and I followed soon after. The DM continued the session as usual, the other players sitting in awkward silence. Then something odd happened. All of a sudden, F showed up with her new character, her old tiefling monk in a wheelchair, who just so happened to have an accident while training. But she hasn't lost hope to continue her quest of finding something that her former master tasked her to do before she died. I was hyped. The players were happy. F was vibrant at the table, and the DM was silent. Whenever her character had to climb stairs or something, no buts, no contradictions. He just said, "Everyone climb the stairs." I was suspicious. It was odd how all of a sudden he changed his mind. And how come we are so quickly doing her personal quest line? And then an intrusive thought hit me like a truck. He wants to kill her character. Games became a chore after this, constantly trying to protect her or rules lawyering my way into saving her character in all situations. Though it was definitely my paranoia acting up because the encounters didn't change difficulty. The traps continued to just be a nuisance rather than a fail-you-die situation. And the DM continued to just hand-wave away any difficulties that F might have with her wheelchair. I had a previous talk with F, just to confirm my suspicions. She told me that it was also weird that DM all of a sudden changed his mind. But it seems like so far so good, and she just wants to believe that he relented because he preferred for her to have fun instead of just wanting to prove a point. Now, with the whole setup out of the way, this is the gritty part. We arrived at a temple and we traced the magic item that F was looking for. We finally met its guardian, a solar. F steps up to the plate and wants to claim the item. The solar deems her worthy. Just one minor issue. He then attempted to try and use regenerate on her. F, without hesitation, backed off, and the DM said,
"You are not worthy in your state."
At first, I tried to step in character, but the DM didn't let me, arguing that this was F's moment. But then it turned into out of character. I accused the DM of being an ableist, to at least stick to his guns and show his true colors instead of doing this whole manipulation and gaslighting thing to try and take away what F wanted. The DM argued back, saying that he needed to show her that the possibility of an adventurer remaining chair-bound forever is unlikely with the amount of resources that they have access to. I remind him that F has explicitly said that she doesn't want her character to be able to walk on her 2 feet again. The DM argued back that we can't always have what we want, and that in real life, it is what it is. F then logged off. I stopped immediately and logged off as well. The DM ended the session early and kicked me out of the server. I convinced F to answer my call, but what she told me, I basically had no words to rebut. OP, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand how much you want to help me. But let's be absolutely clear, as a general rule of thumb, with anyone who is dealing with my condition or similar, do not help them unless they ask you to. I was hurt by what the DM did, but I was more hurt by the fact that you drowned my voice out with yours. She was right. She was going to answer the DM, but I interrupted her. I have never felt more erased. I was like a fly on the wall when you two went off. You didn't care about my opinion or what I wanted at that moment. That hurt me more than whatever shenanigans the DM was coming up with. If I wanted help, I would ask. And you never asked if I wanted help. I just apologized and said that from now on I will refrain interjecting unless I was asked to. I hung up the call and I haven't talked to her or the group since. If I didn't think different, I would go to AITA. But I think it was more than clear that at the end of the day, I was the asshole. Ugh. I went from, wow, okay, this DM kinda sucks, but I guess I could see where they're coming from, to, wow, OP is a twat. I appreciate the self-awareness, but I just really hate when people feel like it's their responsibility to act as this chosen warrior of the downtrodden, you know? A lot of the time, all it does is drown out the voices of people who actually have meaningful stuff to say. It's her legs that don't work, not her brain, you arrogant clown. I know that the combat wheelchair thing stirred up some controversy, and personally, I thought people on both sides of the argument were pretty stupid. On one hand, you had the people who thought that the presence of paraplegics in Dungeons & Dragons ruined their immersion, when in reality, they really just needed to get immersed in some bitches. Yeah, they would probably be able to use magic to heal their condition, but realism isn't something that you should be worrying about in an RPG. But on the other hand, you had these people who were touting this PDF as if it were the equivalent of finding the Ark of the Covenant for the handicapped. And anyone who didn't just sing its praises was labeled as one of the most irredeemable ableists imaginable. Wow, I can play as a gnome version of Stephen Hawking. Congratulations, you've solved ableism. Suffice it to say, it was another case of two loud idiot factions drowning out the indifference of the majority, much like what happened in this story. Most people just kinda shrugged their shoulders and said, that's cool, and forgot about it. Look, we live in a world where people will get outraged at the slightest controversy regardless of whether or not it actually applies to them or not. How about instead of immediately reaching for our pitchforks and torches, we try talking to the people that are actually involved to see if they are even upset over it? If we drop this narcissistic worldview where we need to be the unrelenting champions of everyone and everything, and instead started viewing ourselves as people with open minds and hearts, trying to learn from each other, well, that would make for some easy rolling. Get it? Easy rolling like a wheelchair? How about we go ahead and roll on into this week's Gallery of the Drake? This week's fan art comes from viewer Brandon Jackson, who depicts the star of his self-published graphic novel series, link is in the description, going for a not-so-joyride. One thing everyone needs to know before entering the Den of the Drake: this ain't Aragon, and I'm no Shetland pony.
Buzz! We missed the truck! We're not aiming for the truck!
Thank you again, Brandon Jackson, for submitting your art. If you'd like to see your fan art featured in Gallery of the Drake, be sure to send it to the email in my About section, along with anything you'd like me to promote in my description. Fan art is my favorite part of doing YouTube, and it means the world to me that I can inspire artists like you to create artwork like this. With the stories over and artwork displayed, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you feel like supporting the channel further, my Patreon and merchandise links are in the description. I would like to thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you next time in the Den of the Drake.